These are the pictures Libyan media says show Russian mercenaries leaving Tripoli's front line. They were meant to shift the balance of power on the battlefield in favor of Libyan warlord Khalifa Haftar. But a series of defeats has left Haftar struggling to fulfill his ambition to take the capital from Libya's internationally recognized government. He's lost control of 3 military camps, an airbase in the west he used to launch attacks on Tripoli, and several towns. His forces are accused of planting landmines in residential areas, putting civilians at risk during the pullout.
As of yesterday, we started combing the liberated area to ensure the safe return of everyone who is displaced. We are still closely monitoring the movements of the remnant militias and mercenaries who are trying to reorganize their fragmented ranks. We are fully prepared to crush them. We assure our fellow Libyans in the captured areas that we will not leave an inch of the Libyan soil and will not allow foreign mercenaries to bunker in residential areas.
A leaked UN report last month suggested Haftar was backed by up to 1,200 mercenaries from Russia's Wagner Group, a private military contractor. The UAE, which backs Haftar, is believed to be bankrolling them. The Kremlin and Haftar deny they were ever there. The recent military gains by government forces have been largely possible because of Turkey's support. It has sent troops to help Tripoli against Haftar's fighters. Ankara has been calling for a political solution to the conflict and has refused to bow to any pressure by the warlord. Haftar's swift retreat on the battlefield seems to suggest that the momentum is fast shifting in his 13-month-long military campaign. Mahmoud Abdelwahed, Aljazeera.
Ahmad Badi is a senior fellow at the Atlantic Council with the research focus on Libya. He says the departure of the Russian mercenaries is a major strategic blow for Haftar.
Why they've pulled out now is subject to speculation. Obviously, you have to take into account that during the past, let's say, week, Turkey has really upgraded its aerial capabilities in Libya and has significantly weakened the strategic advantage that the Russian mercenaries provided, namely in terms of attacking aerial defense systems or Panzer systems that were Emirati supplied but Russian manufactured systems. Now, it's obvious that there is some form of backdoor deal between Turkey and Russia in terms of allowing these mercenaries to back out of Tripoli and go towards Bani Waleed and towards Jufra and perhaps out of Libya. Why they did that at this juncture, I am not entirely sure, but if they hadn't withdrawn, they would have probably gotten killed. And I think that would have caused problematic dynamics between Russia and Turkey. Since late August, it's actually the Russian mercenaries that have enabled the ground offensive to not only continue, but for Haftar's troops to actually make territorial headway. So they gained ground since then because of the Russians' involvement. As soon as they pulled out, in roughly, I would say, 8 hours, Haftar lost the territory that he's gained in 8 months. That's how much of a strategic military advantage these groups or the Russian groups provided him. Now, that doesn't mean that the war has ended, but it does mean that in terms of capturing Tripoli, let's say, I don't think that it's realistic to assume that that will be possible if the, let's say, backers of Haftar do not significantly escalate against Turkey. It's also worth noting that before pulling out, they significantly, let's say, put IEDs, improvised explosive devices, around Tripoli, which points to the fact that they do not intend to be the attacking force again, because they'll be, let's say, affected by their own mines that they planted.